Hi everyone, happy to be here with you. My name is Asaf Wolf. I'm Senior Vice President for Enrollment at the University of the People, and I'm going to tell you how the fastest growing university leverages AI and automation to maximize student success and global growth. To those of you who doesn't know what U People is, let me tell you in a second. So, we'll keep it brief, but University of the People is the 10th biggest university in the United States today. We have over 150,000 students coming in from really everywhere, every country and territory you can think of. We were founded in 2009 and we are growing rapidly since. The idea behind the institution is that it's for the people, by the people. We are here to solve a global issue around access towards higher education. Some of our students studying with us because they cannot afford the fees that other institutions are charging, the student debt and loans issues. But we also have students coming from other sides of in the world where women who are not allowed to study in their countries. For example, Afghanistan is one example. We have countries where there aren't enough seats to study in a university. Only in Nigeria, every year, we have 1.5 million people who graduate high school, but there aren't seats for more than half a million students in universities. So every year, only in Nigeria, we have 1 million people who are deprived from higher education. We have refugees and asylum seekers who are not allowed to study in some of the countries. We actually have more refugees than any other country in the world. And we are very proud of that. We believe that it is our responsibility to make sure that every person will have access to higher education if they are, of course, qualified. So we are the first non-profit, tuition-free, online American accredited university. And I know that the first thing that probably comes up to your mind is how the hell does it work, right? And sorry for my French, but what exactly is happening here? How can we be tuition free and scale so fast? So our approach in general is to create a new model of higher education. We rely on technology and automation to reduce the workforce that we need to hire. Those who we are hiring are coming from all corners of the globe in order to reduce the costs. We use only open educational resources in our courses. We don't have any buildings, we don't have any offices, we don't even use paper. We rely heavily on volunteers across the institution, not just in class, as instructors, and they help us fulfill our mission of enabling access towards higher education to any qualified applicant. And we make sure to teach them only degrees that we believe or that we know that will help them move forward with their careers, with their lives, and with their education. Um, we offer only few electives. We don't have any extracurricular activities, and we also enjoy amazing support by fantastic organizations and foundations out there, like the Mellon Foundation and Gates and others. We have collaborations with fantastic bodies like the federal government and others, and we are extremely grateful for that. So, how does it look like? This is our growth in enrollment over the last, you can say 12 years basically. I've joined the institution somewhere there in 2012, and I was lucky and fortunate to experience and to see that growth, which was it was and is extremely challenging as time goes by. And we all know that, right? This is how the average US college enrollment looks like in the last decade or so, and we are all experiencing that. So, how did we continue to grow while others are declining? One answer is that we increased our conversion rates in the funnel from around zero point 0.1 to over 10%. The other one is that we were able to reduce the acquisition costs of our students from somewhere around $700, $800 to $60, $50 today. And I'm going to tell you a bit about how we've done it. But first, let me just say, our students are also graduating. They are happy. Our retention rates are around touching the 90% today. As you can see, satisfaction is well above that, as well as other parameters. And our students, our graduates, are employed and happy in some amazing organizations out there. So how do we do it? What do I have to share with you about how do we do marketing and how do we grow at University of the People? We have across the years 4 main challenges that we face: brand awareness, the brand credibility. I'm willing to bet that most of you who hear me now never heard about University of the People, the conversion rates and the process for becoming students, and the scalability of the model, because the entire idea behind University of the People is to build a new model of higher education. So we need to make sure that we are able to serve a lot of students without the burden of the costs that traditional universities has. So when we look at the search trends in higher education, it's very interesting to notice that most of the students or the potential students are searching programs before they even know which school they want to study. So they are open to your offer, right? And also the trends are changing across the sphere. So we know that there are blue oceans out there, and by using data and doing research, we can find, or we keep finding, what is that blue ocean that we need to target and that we need to go after. Who are those students that we can target that others may not have found yet, or that there isn't a lot of competition over them at this moment. So we are leveraging data to do that. When you look at the search trends in higher education, and you look at the what we can look at as competitors when it comes to paid media and targeting the keywords that we are targeting, our competitors, right? They go after the same keywords that we are, and they're spending 3 times more than us, but they win only 2 times more than the audience, more than us, which means that although we spend almost nothing comparing to them, we are still able to get a major part of the market when it comes to paid campaigns. This is data about how much universities, or the universities who spends the most on paid media, are spending. University of the People is spending somewhere around $1.3 million a year. We are not in that game. So we had to invest in creativity, in data, and in creative ways of how can we tackle and how can we find ways to continue and grow. This is actually a chart that shows how much we used to spend on paid media and how much we are spending today. You can see the increase that we had in last July, which is following a decision that we've made to grow enrollment towards the beginning of the new academic year. But in general, you definitely see the trend, and we are decreasing the amount of money we put behind ads and paid media. And while we do that, we are trying to be creative and unique as much as possible, early adopters if you'd like, in how we do paid media. So CTV is one example. When you go to Hulu and you stream and you see ads, you can be one of those advertisers, right? You may think, okay, that's a lot of money, or very complicated to create an amazing ad that will run with that. Actually, it's pretty simple, and we were able to do something very low cost in-house and then run it for a few thousands of dollars. We did an omni-channel campaign targeting specific locations, specific zip codes, with a specific message around the collaboration we had with Maricopa County community colleges, and the results were fantastic. So it really means that if you need to find the right channels to say the right things to the right audience, and then you see an impact that can, break the glass ceiling of the statistics that you usually see around paid media. Creators is another example. Now with the Hispanic Latinos Heritage Month, we are running campaigns with creators on TikTok from that community in specific locations, trying to spread the word about University of the People, because we have identified that there is a lower awareness among that community for our offer. And obviously the list goes on. There are so many tools today out there, so many AI capabilities that you can harness in order to meet the goals, and that's what we are doing constantly. But if I need to summarize it, and when we are talking about paid media, and I think that's even not only about paid media but brand awareness overall, in order for you to have the lowest acquisition cost or the cost per student possible, you need to make sure first that you understand what are you trying to say. And then you need to understand who is that student that you are trying to target. What is holding them back? What is the pain you are coming to solve for them? And then where are they and what do you want to tell them, right? And so when you launch the campaign, you're saying the right thing to the right audience, the right time and place, and then you will get higher engagements, higher response rate, higher conversion rates, higher click rates, so the cost per acquisition or cost per click will be as low as possible. And as I said, that's not only relevant for paid campaigns, even when you think about organic activities. So most of our customers, most of our students are coming from organic searches online. And the reason is because when we started, we invested most of our resources, in organic traffic and in search engine optimization across our websites. Every word that is written on our website was written from a perspective of what would a potential student look for when they go online. And it's I like to say that it's like going to the gym. It's really good for you, but it takes time until you see the impact of your investment. So it takes between 3 to 6 months until you start to see an impact, but the impact is accelerating as we go, right? It's exponential. So today, the last academic year, we had over 10 million sessions, basically people coming to our website just from organic searches, 270% growth in the last couple of years, in the last few years, and that's definitely continuing to build on and continue to grow. Even when we go to social media, and I'm talking here about organic activity on social media, not paid, we have over 600 million impressions in the last academic year because we choose very carefully where should we be, what should we say. If we don't have added value, we're not there. You won't find us on Snapchat. And it took us a lot of time to decide, as you can see, that we want to go into TikTok because we didn't know what we want to say there, what will be our added value. And only once we articulated that, we decided to go in. And I think one of the biggest assets that we have when it comes to brand awareness is our students. We know that their friends, their families, their communities, their neighbors, those are the next or future students that we'll have. So we work with them, and most of them are thankful for the opportunity to study tuition free, to basically help us and share their experience with the world. This is, by the way, the time to say we are tuition free, but we are not free. A student who study with us will usually pay. A full bachelor degree will usually cost somewhere around, I think, $5,600, but it's pay-as-you-go model, so they will pay $140 at the end of each course. And they can always take a break, continue, and so on. So it's definitely a new model. And a student who cannot afford even these fees will be able to study completely for free, and this is where the supporters that I've showed you before will step in and basically fund their studies. Okay, so in general, the more you're relevant, and saying the right thing to the right people, the right place and time, the less you will need to pay premium for that acquisition or for that engagement. And that's, I think, what we should take from the brand awareness discussion. Okay, moving on to brand credibility. So brand credibility, super important. If people don't trust you, don't know you, then it's a challenge, and you will suffer from conversion rates that will be lower and acquisition costs that will be higher. And I think that this is where all the work we are doing together with our partners and all the supporters we have is paying off. The President Council members coming from, as you can see, the top universities out there. We have academic partnerships with amazing institutions that work with us and community colleges. We are accredited by DAC, and we pursue accreditation also with WASC, still in the process. And if going back to the student ambassadors that I've discussed before, if you go online, you'll see that we are one of the universities with the highest ranking online. So everywhere a future or potential student will go, they will see that, what our students think about us, and they are happy and they are satisfied, and that's something that help us to build the brand, because most of the people who hear about us for the first time on organic search or just an ad, they have no idea who we are. So they search, and those reviews or those institutions really help to build their confidence that we are relevant. So we build the awareness, we build the credibility. Another challenge that we have is around the conversion rates. So this is where we worked very hard first to understand what are the issues in the conversion, in the admissions process. I'll talk a bit about data later, but we basically try to collect evidence and look at all the funnel, work on the data and insights, and really understand what's holding our students back. And we've decided to change the entire application process and break it down to basically three main steps, let's call it. One step is an initial application. You come into the website, you click apply now, you fill a form of maybe 10 fields, right? Who are you? What do you want to study? That's basically it. And after you're doing that, you are being sent to the next step of the application, which is more about, tell me what you've studied before, how do you plan to pay for your degree, if you want to pay, or if you can pay, and do you have transfer credit, or do you need to prove your English proficiency, and so on. And then once you complete that, you go into an automatic on-demand orientation course online, like a 4-hour course, self-paced. At the end of that, you will go into a foundations courses phase. This would be your admissions pathway. You will take between 2 to 5 courses, and only once you complete at least 2, and the overall CGPA that you will get will be 2.0 or above, you will be able to basically get an offer of enrollment into the degree programs. By then, by the way, you will also need to submit your proof of high school completion, which is another step that really held people back before, and now we are moving it all the way into their studies. So basically, you have a year to complete at least 2 courses and to prove your high school completion, and then you become a degree-seeking student. But once you become a degree-seeking student, if you accept our enrollment offer, and over 80% of the students which we offer enrollment to choose to accept, you will you'll basically become a degree-seeking student, and then you'll get all the credits that you have collected in the pathway process and take them with you into the degree program, and you'll have another, let's say between 38 to 18, if it's associate courses to complete, in order to complete your full degree. Same process, by the way, in the master level programs. So that enables us to basically, by breaking down the process into 3 main steps, we were able to maximize the conversion rates from an applicant to a payment of the application fee, which is the first step, and then from the payment of the application fee into the student side, starting the admissions pathway. So you will see around, in the US, 20% conversion rates from application to payment, the initial form of application, and then another, I would say, another probably 80% conversion rates from payment to becoming a student, and then from becoming a student into the degree program. It really depends on how good are you ready for higher education, and so on. So that's another thing that we are measuring on the experience and retention and persistence side of the institution. So that's the admissions pathway. Another thing that we will keep thinking about when it comes to conversion rates is how do we build a process where a potential customer, potential student will be able to ask questions and get answers immediately on the spot, in a scalable way. So in 2019, we did a showcase with Meta, back then Facebook, and we were actually the first university in the world to implement Facebook chatbot on Facebook Messenger. We did it in collaboration with LivePerson, and since then we switched the chatbot to a natural language model, NLP, and now we are working on shifting that to an AI agent. But basically, if a potential customer, potential student comes to the chatbot, it can be on Facebook Messenger, iMessages, WhatsApp, our website, our portals, and so on. Button from the email, they are able to basically have a conversation with a virtual agent, which can also escalate the conversation to a live agent that is available based on the hours we define. So in the entire escalation process, it's all happening online automatically. So that's something we have since 2019. And I would say using technology as early adopters, like I mentioned before, you will see that that's a theme that's going on from the early days, and that's what helps us to stay ahead of the curve. Which also brings me into mobile first approach. So not to be confused with mobile friendly, but a couple of years ago, I think it was actually 4 years ago, we switched our website to become a mobile first website, which means that the entire design is being done from a mobile point of view, and then we make it friendly for desktop view. But we first and foremost think about mobile, and that really helped us with the Google algorithm updates, and most of our visitors today coming from mobile. We have students who study completely from mobile, so that was definitely a game changer for us. Okay, so we talked about conversions. Let's talk about scalability. We using marketing automation tools, Adobe's Marketo, since 2013, and it was our biggest investment in marketing that we ever made. That was when the marketing team was still, I think maybe 2 people marketing team, including myself, and it was one of the best decisions we've ever made. So what does it mean? What does it include? It includes email flows. So not newsletters, not email blasts that you get here and there when there's a sale. Those are carefully crafted email journeys to support our applicants during their application process. So we have 3 layers of that. We have the nurture funnel, which is basically emails that are there to build the trust, to build the engagement with the applicant or the future student. One email can be about our academic team, one email can be about a day in class, and so on. Another set of emails are triggered by activity or inactivity. So you paid, you get an email, right? You didn't visit the website for a week, you get an email, and so on. And one are more about marketing campaigns, like it's the transfer credit month. You can transfer your credits today without a fee. All those 3 levels of emails are segmented and personalized by all the data that we have about the students and where are they in their journey. So if I'm from Nigeria and I am a male at the age of 37 and I'm applying for business administration degree, let's say a bachelor, I will see a completely different email in all those flows comparing to a single mom from New York, who is applying for computer science associate degree and working full time. So we believe that by harnessing the data into the content, we are able to create content that people engage with, that people react to, that people care about, and that helps us to create basically a personalized journey in their application to the university. But those are only emails, and we all know that opening rates, best case scenario, get to 40%. This is where we are using other channels as well. SMS, which by the way, I think opening rates are somewhere around 99%, is another method we use. Website, push messages also, and again, everything is personalized and segmented to the relevant audiences. We also use personalization in videos. I talked about early adopters before, so you will get during your application process with us in a few steps in the process. You will get a video that will include personalization. So someone from the US will see a different video scene from someone in France. If you applied for a bachelor degree, you will see the Dean of Business Administration and not the Dean of Computer Science. And at the end, if you are just at the last step of the application and you just need to save your spot, then your button will say save your spot. But if you are just the beginning, it will say, right, start your application. So basically the videos are also personalized, and we also use real-time personalization. So when a user is going to the website, even the homepage or any other page on the website can be personalized based on the different data sets that we have about the applicant or the user or the potential student. So yeah, a lot of activities that we are doing, and they are all based on the knowledge, the information, the data that we have on our applicants and students. And one of the questions can be, what are you going to do, when cookies will go away? And I think that's something we're all thinking about and talking about in the marketing world. I would say that it seems like this is becoming less and less of a big issue, because we see that Google is pushing back on that and so on. But it's definitely guiding our overall approach of moving to first side information, first side cookies, first party cookies. We are trying to collect the data directly from our applicants, and we are also using AI tools that today can help you understand a lot about your applicants without third-party cookies. So once you collect all this data, yes, you can use it for personalization and so on, but you can also use it to understand your applicants and your journey and your challenges and barriers and opportunities. I mentioned that this is how we started when we built the entire application or rebuilt the entire application process. But that's not an ad hoc step. This is an ongoing, continuing improvement process that we are doing in our application process to make sure that we are bringing the best conversion rates possible. And this is why, as I said before, we are hitting the 20% in the US and 10% overall in the world, where sometimes even our minimal fees can be a bigger issue. And that's something that we are constantly doing. We are looking at the data every day, and we are analyzing and summarizing it every term. We have 5 terms a year. So yeah, that's a big part of what we do. And obviously optimize everything accordingly. Okay, so one of the questions that you may have is, what about AI? You mentioned AI at the beginning of the conversation. So we don't look at AI as a channel or activity or a feature that we use. AI is in everywhere and everything that we do. It's in the content creation process. It's in the data analysis process. It's in the bidding and conversion rates process. We use AI tools and abilities everywhere in whatever and really anything that we do, in order to make the most of it becoming more proficient and more scalable and more productive. And we definitely feel both the challenge that it brings with it, as well as the results. And guys, if you're not using AI tools, even in the simple tasks that you have every day, you're really missing out. It can bring you a lot of added value if used properly. Do not use AI to replace completely what you're doing, because then you'll definitely get a pushback in the results. It just won't be good enough, and there are many issues with that. One example would be Google, that if you use AI to generate content, will definitely push you back. So you need to be careful with that. Okay, takeaways. So, effective marketing. It's not about having the big budgets and it's not about having a big team. It's about knowing your audience and saying the right thing to the right people at the right time and the right place. You can definitely do a lot with the tools and that are available out there to make immediate impact. If it's with marketing automation, if it's with emails, if it's with text messages, if it's whatever, you can start very, very small and still make a major impact almost immediately. And I think that if you, one of the things I keep telling our team is that nothing will change unless we change things. And I think that that's what I would suggest you to do. There are so many opportunities today to make changes and to see immediate feedback that I would urge you all to rethink what you do right now and try to see if there's a way to make more of out of the resources that you have. I hope it was interesting, and if not, I'm sorry. And if yes, please feel free to be in touch. Asaf Wolf, and yeah, thank you so much for your time. Goodbye.